Of turquoise sky right now, and the first pitch to Furr is high and away, ball one. Call a buddy, tell him the game's on. Louisiana Tech and LSU. We'll keep you posted with the NIT men's basketball action involving the Tigers as we continue tonight. That's across the street at the Maravich Center. So we will keep you abreast of what's going on there as well. Settle in. Pour yourself a tall one and get set for some college baseball.
Well, the key for LSU today as a pitching staff is against Louisiana Tech is to keep this guy, Caston Furr, off the base paths.
Yep.
He is leading the nation in runs scored with 35, and he's fourth on the nation in hit by pitches. So if you that's the key to limiting Louisiana Tech's success. He's a transfer from UNO. He's from Ruston, had a nice career with Blake Dean and the Privateers, and then he's a grad transfer.
Well, that may be the first order of business, Ronnie. The second order of business is don't let the opposition score 33 runs in 3 games, as was the surprising case at Mississippi State the other day. That's a strike to McConnell. Louisiana Tech is doing something tonight that it has not done this season over the course of 21 games, and that is face a starting pitcher who's a left-hander. Braswell plucks it on the backhand side and then cannot make the transfer. He reached into his glove and it just trickled away.
Well, LSU had its struggles defensively this past weekend. They had 2 errors in all 3 games that they played up in Starkville. This is an 0-2 pitch, maybe a little bit more of the plate than he would have liked. Braswell did the hard part. He backhanded it nicely, had it, was going to try to maybe go to second with it, and dropped it out of his glove.
Here's Dalton Davis, the right fielder. The infield is at double play depth. The ground ball off the bat of McConnell was ruled a shortstop error. 2 on, nobody out. Ethan Bates is on deck. Davis stands as deep in the box as the law allows and takes a breaking pitch. He did not swing at it. I find that a bit odd, though, that this being the 22nd game, and it's the first time that Louisiana Tech has faced a left-handed starting pitcher.
Yeah, that is strange. You know, now LSU just has a plethora of lefties. They have 9 left-handed pitchers on their roster. They actually had 10 in the fall, but Jake Brown stopped pitching. They converted him to an outfielder only this year. But that is a crazy number to have that many. Maybe they took all the guys that were going to face Louisiana Tech.
Tonight, it's beautiful, a little bit cool, 62 degrees right now, no chance of rain, winds virtually silent, officially out of the west-southwest at 3, maybe 6 miles an hour at times, but the flags are idle right now. The pitch. Popped up right side, Milam is calling for it. The second baseman retreats and he stabs it for the first out. So Davis is not able to advance the runners. They remain at second, that's Furr, and first, that's McConnell, after the pop-up to Stephen Milam. This brings on Ethan Bates, who's having a heck of a year. He's out of Hot Springs, Arkansas.
Look at those numbers, 391 batting average with an 87 at-bats already this year. That's the most at-bats on the team.
Strike 1 to the DH, Ethan Bates. George Corona is on deck. Here's a chop to Milam. There's an out at second base. The relay throw is in time. LSU spins it 4-6-3. Milam, Braswell, and Jones turn it over. And we're going to have a Review, it appears. And get to the booth to take a look at the replay.
Definitely looks safe on the initial replay. Watch the foot. It does seem to get to the bag right there. Yeah, and that ball's nowhere near the glove. So
yeah, this shouldn't take long. And the inning, it appears, will continue. But we will wait for the umpires to take a look. So if it stands, it'll be a 4-6 put out, and the runner reaches on a fielder's choice.
That would give first and third with 2 outs. So Louisiana Tech.
If our eyes are accurate, the inning will continue with runners on the corners.
There you see Lane Burroughs already in his 8th season as the head coach at Louisiana Tech. Unbelievable that time has flown.
He was at Northwestern State with success before he was hired at Louisiana Tech.
Foot
and you
on
can
bag and ball's not anywhere near the glove.
No. It's going to continue, but we will find out right now.
The play at first base is going to be overturned to safe. Louisiana Tech retains their challenge.
That's Ray Gregson, the second baseman, doing the talking. So they have overturned it, and now Louisiana Tech has an opportunity with a guy who was an all-conference performer last year, and Corona stepping to the plate.
Corona takes it low, ball 1. His first name is spelled Jorge. Pronounced George. And he hits a one-hopper to Braswell. He'll make the underhanded flip to retire Bates on the force. A 6'4" fielder.
Season, Copeland pitched really well for the Bulldogs.
And the first pitch is a strike to Mac Bingham. The next pitch is slapped through the hole on the left side. Mac Bingham rams the second pitch he sees on the ground into left. His home run total was increased by 3 over the weekend. He homered in every game against Mississippi State. This one comes up and hits the shortstop high on the chest, or maybe even on the neck. That took a funky bounce after McLeod had gone as far as he could to the left. The shortstop was behind him waiting and could not feel that bad hop. Let's see how they score this. It's a breaking ball, and White swinging on the first offering.
Oh, that's got to be a base hit. I mean, it took a bad hop, plus the shortstop was way over towards third base. I think they're going to give him a single there. And for Tommy White, you know, like you said, 6-game hitting streak. You get a hit here, you get a 7-game hitting streak.
And it is an infield hit for White. So 2 quickly aboard for Louisiana Tech. The 1-0 pitch to Jared Jones. High and away. Corona had to leap to get it. It's halftime in the Maravich Center in the first round NIT game. North Texas has come from an early deficit and leads by 7 at halftime. It's North Texas 38, LSU 31. Halftime at the Maravich Center in the first round NIT game.
Oh, well, LSU's got them right where they want them. I mean, if you followed LSU basketball this year, they are a definite second-half team in a big way. Now hitters count here for Jonesy. First inning, 3-1. If you're Jones, you have to be sitting fastball, anticipating fastball, and just let anything else that's not go.
And he lays off the pitch. It's high and away. The bases are suddenly loaded with nobody out.
That was a really good take by the big fella who wanted to be swinging in that spot. And instead of being overly aggressive chasing a ball that was just off the outside corner, he did a nice job and let it go. And now his teammate Hayden Travinski's got a big RBI opportunity with the bases juiced.
Well, he has not needed a GPS to find his way to the base paths this year. He has been on base in every game this season. Travinski has. He's first pitch swinging and lifts this one left side, foul territory and out of reach. LSU with Bingham at third. White at second base. Jones at first. One strike on Travinski. Pearson is on deck. One ball, one strike.
79-mile-an-hour breaking ball on that offering from Copeland. Just a little down.
Travinski has been at the plate 5 times with the bases loaded this year. He has delivered 3 base hits. And that's good for 9 runs batted in. That's remarkable. Batting .319 on the year. One of 4 300 hitters in the lineup for the Tigers. White, Travinski, Milam, and Milazzo. This may make center field. It's grabbed by the shortstop as he went sliding on his belly to keep it from rolling into the outfield, but an infield hit for Travinski, and the Tigers have put 4 consecutive batters aboard and lead 1-0.
That's unfortunate for Copeland because he makes a really good pitch here. This should have been a double play ball, but because they had Travinski played for like basically a shift, you had the shortstop way over in the hole towards third base. He had no chance to get that.
Moved his average to .263. This is his 16th start of the season. Strike one. 4 homers, 9 driven in for Pearson. He's got a chance to get to double figures in RBI with a knock here. Only he and Milazzo do not have double figures in runs batted in so far this year in the lineup. But that soon changes, doesn't it? As Pearson, with a short swing, waited on that pitch and lines it solidly to right. The Tigers go station to station and lead it 2-0.
He hit it sharply, also hit it in the air, so the runner at second had to hold. Jones had to freeze a little bit, make sure it wasn't caught. But Pearson is seeing it really, really well, and they need it. They need a couple guys to step up in that outfield and just kind of put a stranglehold on that position, and it's a good sign to see. That young man had a big-time freshman year, and they're counting on him in a big way this year to lead this team offensively.
Louisiana Tech still has not registered an out. 4 hits in the inning, 2 runs in, and a walk to Jones. The bases remain full. Jones at third, Travinski at second, Pearson on first. Braswell comes to the plate with a .271 average. He was 4 for 10 on the weekend, and Braswell beats the shift as he blasts it up the middle. One Tiger scores. Here comes another, and LSU has added 2 more on a 2-run single up the middle by Michael Braswell. That's the 5th base hit in the inning for the Tigers.
This is another where Louisiana Tech sort of out-thunk it. Balls hit hard, no doubt about it, a one-hopper to the outfield. But again, traditional second base double play positioning. That's a one-hopper to the shortstop. And both times LSU took advantage offensively of the overshift by the Bulldogs. And LSU hangs the 4 spot that we talked about a few minutes ago. Had the opportunity for a big inning and a knockout blow, and they've taken advantage of it so far.
Milam is around to bunt and lets it pass. Ball 1. Ryan Harland, a left-hander, is warming up for Louisiana Tech. The Tigers have put Bingham and White and Travinski and Pearson and Braswell aboard with singles and a walk sandwiched in the middle by Jones. Still nobody out. 4 runs in. Runners at second and first. Pearson and Braswell. The monster at the plate. He hits it sharply. Gloved by the third baseman. There's an out at second and an out at first. McLeod, Ballard, and Como turn it over.
Now the Bulldogs finally helping out their pitcher, Copeland. Little 3-hopper over the third, and that first throw to second is the most important one. It was a ball right up in the chest area, easily handled by Ballard at second base for a nice turn.
Now it's Kling, and he's hit by a pitch. So the Tigers continue to be a magnet for pitches.
That's now 46 hit by pitches this year by the Tigers. 46, and they've played, this is the 22nd game of the year.
So they're averaging 2 plunks per game. And here is Milazzo. LSU has batted around. Runners at first and third. Milazzo has shown remarkable improvement offensively the last couple of seasons. He's batting .391 at the moment. Not a lot of extra base hits, just 1 double. And they've got the runner picked off. Kling is going to stop.
Oh, wow.
And the ball is dropped by the first baseman. The runner Pearson scores from third. And we've seen LSU try that a couple of times. They've been successful both times.
How about that? LSU, a second time in a week, they've run a first and third play with success and have scored the runner from third. They didn't do that all of last year. They've already done it twice in a week. And
Como was trying to make a decision about where to throw the ball, and he dropped it.
Yeah, it was a correction. That was when Kling's hit by pitch was LSU's 44th of the year through 22 games. That's an average, of course, of 2 per game. And you always want to go and make the first baseman have to make the throw to get you out. And that's what LSU.
Why? This is a veteran team with a capital V. 8 seniors or super seniors, meaning graduate students, are in the offensive lineup, and 1 freshman. Como is the only non-senior or super senior. And Ronnie, that's a group, that 8 that are either seniors or super seniors, have seen a lot of pitches and had a lot of experience in their collegiate career. And that's one of the reasons that Burroughs feels very good about this ball club.
Well, you look at like LSU baseball this past weekend, the success that the veterans had, and Tommy White had a big weekend. Josh Pearson had a big weekend. These are guys that are battle tested, have played on the road, have seen a lot. Whereas a lot of the new faces, the Neals, who didn't have an at-bat last year or didn't, in SEC play, and the Milums and others struggled their first time on the road in SEC. And so there's something to be said for those veteran at-bats. And that's back-to-back leadoff walks for Coleman. Not what you want, because like we said in college baseball many times, law of averages are that leadoff batter's going to come around the score more than 50% of the time.
And that pitch is a bit tight to Grant Como.
And here comes a visit to the mound. Last remaining player from that era.
Coleman misses tight again. 2-0. That throw to first base is airmailed over the head of Jared Jones. The runner stumbles between second and third, but he is going to slide and make it. A 2-base throwing error on Javen Coleman. That was just a casual throw, and it got away from him.
Yeah, this is just a toss, and you could see Coleman He doesn't normally throw that way, but it's like he realized, hey, he was getting back to the first. He tried to just flip it. It was too casual with it, and a giant mistake.
And the runner Myers motored all the way to third. So now Como has a teammate 90 feet away with a 2-0 count and no outs.
And we may be seeing Griffin Herring, this next batter. If he can't come all the way back against Grant Como, I think you're going to see a pitch and change here for sure.
It's a 4-pitch base on balls. Back-to-back walks. 3 walks in the game already for Coleman. Along with that egregious throwing error.
A little bit. If he can give him, 3-4 innings, he may jump a spot.
He has allowed 8 hits in those 9 2/3 innings. He inherits runners on the corners. And here is Michael Ballard from Longwood, Florida.
Michael Ballard, who's a graduate transfer from Eckerd College. Went to Lake Mary High School. You know who else went to Lake Mary High School in Longwood, Florida?
I think I do, but tell me.
Yeah, the former Tiger Dylan Cruz.
Yep.
They were teammates.
It was Dylan Cruz. Dylan Cruz, I tell you. You didn't see my note?
3 years you did brought games of Dylan Cruz from Lake Mary High School in Longwood, Florida. The guy hit 405 last year in the SEC, Dylan Cruz.
At least.
Golden Spikes Award winner.
Number 2 draft choice, that guy?
They were teammates over at Lake Mary, and now he's over at Louisiana Tech. A guy who came in, they thought maybe he might play some second base. Play some shortstop, but with Caston Furr transferring from UNO, he's over there at second. And according to the coaching staff, Lane Burroughs says they have the best middle infield they've had since he's been there in the last 8 years.
Louisiana Tech will host the Conference USA tournament in May for the second time in the last 4 years with that new facility, and they put on a heck of a tournament. So Conference USA will gather in Ruston in May for the Conference USA Championship Tournament. The CUSA Softball Championship Tournament was held in Ruston last year. And the soccer tournament was held there this fall. Ballard waits, the 2-2 pitch. Herring could really use a strikeout. 3-2, nobody out. Myers is at third base, Como at first. They both walked, and Myers moved up on an errant throw to first base from the pitcher. Jones is chasing this one, but he can't get it. Neither can Pearson.
Now Ballard gets a chance to stay alive after that foul ball doesn't find the basket. Herring doesn't really need a strikeout right here, Lane. He just needs a strike. LSU with a 5-run lead. You can pitch this a little different early on. It's early in the game. Just ground ball, get you 2. You'll give up a run if you're Herring.
Pearson started back. Now he's coming toward the infield. He's got it. Runner tags from third. The throw is on the fly to the catcher, Milazzo. And the runner returns to third base, Myers. Como held his ground at first. So an out with no advance. And here is Logan McLeod at the bottom of the order. But a solid hitter at 296. He has started every game. 6 of these Bulldogs have started each game. McLeod has 1 home run, 4 doubles, a triple, and 9 driven in.
Well, Logan McLeod at the plate, Lynn, could easily play for Jay Johnson. He's a Jay Johnson type guy. You know why? Because this senior has 51 career hit by pitches. He's one off the career all-time record at Louisiana Tech with 52. I mean, that's the kind of guy that Jay Johnson has coached all his life.
No question. Mr. Contusion. The 1-0 pitch.
Yeah, he's not the only guy on their squad that's not afraid to wear it. They actually have 38 hit by pitches as a squad, which is a ton. It's not 44 like LSU, but it's not far off.
That's upstairs, and he's missed 3 times. The infield is at double play depth. There's a strike. Zachary Edgens calling balls and strikes. Alex Ziegler at first base. The veteran Ray Gregson at second base. Jeff Beeman is working third. Now let's check the runner at first. Will they put him in motion? That's Como. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. He has stretched his lead a little bit, but not going, and the pitch is fouled away. Did I ever tell you that on a 3-2 pitch, there's a 62% chance of a foul ball?
I've never heard that before.
Really?
Yeah.
You need to pay attention.
We're going to have to keep us, we'll get Randy to keep that stat tonight.
There's another one. It's house money, I'm telling you that. A swing and a tip back into the mid of Milazzo. Well, Ronnie, he's come on and got a fly ball to right and a strikeout of McLeod.
Well, that's a nice job by Herring. He fell behind 3-0 and threw 4 straight strikes and got the big punch out.
So 2 outs and the runners remain on the corners. Milazzo keeps that one at his feet. Caston Furr at the top of the order walked and was left at third base in the first inning. Herring with a long stretch delivers and barely misses tight.
Caston Furr, you see on the season, batting .309, leads the nation in runs scored. Last season at .277 for UNO. His best year in very consistent years in 21 and 22. 318 and 21 with 55 starts. In 2022, he hit .317 with 53 starts. That's pretty good.
No doubt.
I mean, he dipped down a little bit last year, but very good player throughout his career.
And he is positioned perfectly as a leadoff batter, don't you think?
Oh, no question about it. A career .296 hitter prior to this year. You add in this year's stats, he's probably right at 300. Has 20 stolen bases before this season as well.
And he hits it sharply out of the reach of Braswell into left field. That'll score teammate Myers from third. And just as we were talking about the effectiveness of Furr, he singles to produce the first Louisiana Tech run.
They tried to go, they wanted fastball up and in on Furr. Instead, it leaked down and away, and Furr was able to reach out and pull it through the 5-hole and came through with a big 2-out base hit.
Como stopped at second base. Furr collects the RBI, his 13th of the season. The run is charged to the starter Coleman. And a breaking pitch is in for a strike on Cole McConnell. That was the first hit of the game for the Bulldogs. It came at a good time off the bat of Furr. McConnell reached on an error last time. Two and one. Myers has scored. Como and Furr are aboard. McConnell has been excellent with runners in scoring position this year, batting .484, but he swings and didn't come close to that pitch. He waves at it again and is tagged out by Milazzo. And
great players over the years.
LSU batted around in the first inning, so it's Bingham and White and Jones to face Ryan Harland.
This is Harlan's 10th appearance already this season. That's tops on the team. Last year he made 29 appearances out of the bullpen.
He's pitched 13 innings. He has allowed 10 hits. Bingham banged a base hit to left field last time. That's a strike.
Opponents are only batting .208 against Harlan.
And he took something off that pitch. Pretty good looking changeup.
Yeah, that was very nice. 79-mile-an-hour changeup, about 10-mile-an-hour difference from his fastball. Right here, look at the location, and then it just the string is pulled. Went right back to it that time, missed a little bit outside.
3-2 on Bingham. Ronnie, did I ever tell you about that 3-2 62% foul ball probability on a 3-2 pitch?
Well, right now you're cashing your chips. You're winning. But look, it's a 9-inning game. It's a long game. Let's see how it plays out over the whole thing. But definitely you're cashing your ticket at the window right now.
You got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them.
Thanks, Kenny.
By the way, I think that was another foul ball. Let's see what happens here on the 3-2 pitch. Popped up left side. The shortstop, Furr, is under it. And there's the first out.
Well, now you know why Harlan's numbers are so good when it comes to batting average against, because that changeup that he throws, only about 7 miles an hour difference off his fastball, but it looks exactly like his fastball out of his hand. I mean, the deception is tremendous.
And it's got a little sink action when it gets to the plate. Here's White. That's the second time he's been to the plate tonight, first pitch swinging.
Yeah, I mean, well, he's always first pitch swinging. It's rare when he's not. But, again, started him off with a changeup. You don't see that very often. But because he's able to just kind of spot it down and away, White might only see like one fastball. If that. There's another one.
White is starting to find his power stroke at the plate.
That time they just kind of showed him a fastball up and in. Didn't want to throw one anywhere near the hit zone. And then I imagine you'll go back with the changeup down and away here.
White leads the Tigers with 27 base hits. 8 of those have been for extra bases, 3 doubles and 5 home runs. And he slams this one into left field. He's 2 for 2.
I don't know if I agree with that decision. They tried to sneak an 86-mile-an-hour fastball into White. Like, it's not like it's 96, it's 86. You're not going to sneak that by him. Even if he is sitting on a changeup, he's too good of a hitter, and he proved it right there. They should have just stayed with the system, stay with the best pitch. If you're going to get beat by White, get beat with your best pitch, and they didn't that time.
Over the last 6 games, he's 8 for 23, 3 homers, 7 driven in, walked 3 times. A big fly ball deep to center field. Jones rips it out of here. You can pucker up and kiss that baby goodbye. Home run number 8, that's a team-leading number, and Jared Jones on one swing adds 2 more to the Tiger total.
Yeah, the 2 big boppers go back-to-back. That's what you like to see if you're an LSU fan. White with the single to get the party started, and then they went first pitch change up to Jones, but this time the pitch was about 2 miles an hour faster than what we had seen, and the location was too much in the middle of the plate. That time, not enough. It was about an 81-mile-an-hour fastball, change up kind of thigh high, middle of the plate. Jones made him pay for the mistake.
That's RBI number 20 and 21 for Jared Jones. He is so strong that he's able to drive balls that aren't center cut over the fence. So can Travinski. But Jared Jones is especially good at it, just on sheer strength. Seven to 1 Tigers. We play in the 2nd inning. And Travinski draws a base on balls. Here's Josh Pearson, who had an RBI base hit last time. Travinski reaches base for the 2nd time tonight. He had an RBI single in the 1st inning. He walks in the 2nd, and he continues to have reached base in every game this year. Pearson had an RBI single last time. Strike 1.
Ooh. Boy, Pearson is locked in right now. Both Pearson and White, who had 5 hits apiece this past weekend up in Starkville, both have 2 hits here tonight. They have carried it over, and this is a missile right back up the middle. I mean, that'll make you life flash before your eyes if you're a pitcher and that ball comes right back up the middle. Harlan flinched in a big way.
Pearson sent it right back from whence it came. And the inning, which already has produced 2 runs on the Jared Jones home run. The inning continues with potential for the Tigers. Braswell had a 2-run single last time. Davis, the right fielder, locates it and makes the play. Braswell flies to right. Things have not gotten any better for LSU's men's basketball team in the first round of the NIT. North Texas 62, LSU 48 with 10 minutes remaining.
Tigers were a 2.5-point favorite tonight in that ball game.
This brings on Milam. He bounced into an around the horn double play, 5-4-3 in the 1st inning. This time he's first pitch swinging. Furr, the shortstop, is under it. And he's got it here. As we come to the vernal equinox today, the amount of sunlight and the amount of darkness is equal today. First day of spring. 7-1 Tigers. Dalton Davis at the plate. Herring working quickly. He did a very good job in relief in the second inning. Davis and Bates and Corona for the Bulldogs. Milam charges and slings it over. Well done.
Yeah. Was not an easy play. Milam ranging to his right and charging in, and then you got to throw across your body, and it was very accurate.
Take a look at these numbers. It's remarkable. Ethan Bates at the plate leads Conference USA in hits, in doubles, in RBI, in strikeouts per at bat. Goes nearly 22 strikeouts for every 22 at bats for every one strikeout. He also pitches. So if the offense is not enough, he'll go to the mound and pitch as well.
He's out of Hot Springs, Arkansas, Lakeside High School. Had 2 saves this past weekend against Northwestern State. 5 saves on the year.
This ball is smacked deep to center, to right field, and caught near the wall by Josh Pearson. That ball was struck very nicely, but Pearson was able to go get it near the wall in right center field.
Can trust Aiden Moffitt in SEC games out of the back end of that bullpen, because there's not many people in the league that have a better arm than the guy you see right there, and the first pitch was 97.
He's allowed 1 hit in the brief relief appearances he's had. Corona is from Miami, Florida. He's a veteran. Darius Myers is on deck. LSU scratched its way for 5 runs in the first inning. Base hits by Bingham and White and Travinsky and Pearson and Braswell. And got 2 more in the second inning on an opposite field home run by Jared Jones, his 8th of the year. That followed a Tommy White single. White is 2 for 2. And so is Josh Pearson. There's the thing that has been bothersome to Aiden Moffitt.
And for that's the 4th walk of the night that LSU pitchers have issued. We're just 2 2/3 innings into this game.
Coleman, the starter, walked 3. That's way outside. Milazzo leaping to his right to capture it. 1-0 on Myers. And Milazzo cannot handle this one. There are 2 outs, but a runner at second base now. So the wild pitch advances Corona to second base with 2 outs. Myers walked and scored in the second. He spanks this one. Kling is backing up in a hurry, still backing up, and he's there a couple of steps before the grass turns into the warning track. Well hit by Myers, but Kling was able to run it down. And we move forward. LSU
Tax your staff a little bit, and then they have a 3-game series at home against Jacksonville State.
Here's Kling. He was hit by a pitch, back in the first inning, the 44th time that LSU has been bruised. One of the leading numbers in the country in that category, and Kling lashes one into the left field corner. This will roll all the way to the wall. Kling will have no difficulty in steaming into second base, and he greets the reliever Martinez with a ringing double into the left field corner.
Well, that's got to feel good for Kling. It has been a little bit of a struggle over the last couple of weeks. You ask how much of a struggle, Lynn? I'll tell you, he last had a base hit on March the 6th. Went 1 for 5 against Southeastern. And since then, he's played in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is his 7th game where he's had an at-bat, and he finally got a base hit. So good for that young man.
He puts himself in scoring position and now moves up 90 feet as Corona cannot handle that pitch from Martinez.
Oh, that was actually a pretty good pitch. That's a pass ball and the catcher. There's nothing wrong with that breaking ball. It was a pretty good one and a costly mistake for the Bulldogs.
Corona closed his glove. They call it a wild pitch, but you look at that again, and that's
how can they call it a wild
you
pitch?
Can't. You can't.
Ball didn't hit the dirt. It was just a good curveball.
I'm marking it as a PB in the book.
I think they'll change that once they see the replay.
I think so too. The catcher Corona on that pass ball didn't open his glove. It was facing the ground. He really didn't give himself a chance to catch it. Lazo was really ineffective at the plate his first couple of seasons. He's changed his batting stance dramatically, his approach at the plate, and he's turned into a capable hitter. But this time he is called out on strikes, and he struck out in the first inning as well.
Now, Greg Martinez, we know what his best pitch is, and that's that breaking ball. That good sharp snap to it.
That's a nice one.
That time you could see.
Milazzo knew it immediately.
Yeah, he was frozen. Probably not looking for it. 2-2, thought he was going to get a fastball and just couldn't pull the trigger.
One run, one hit for the Bulldogs. 7 runs, 9 hits for LSU. Bingham couldn't find that one. Mack at the top of the order is 1 for 2. He has singled and scored and popped up to the shortstop last time. This is the 3rd pitcher he's faced. He checks his swing and did go around. Now the infield has pursed toward the plate, just standing one step on the dirt away from the grass, and they just shifted on the previous pitch. This one is chopped to the shortstop. He looks at the plate, doesn't have a play there, and Furr does get the out at first base, but an RBI ground out, 6-3 from Bingham, and Kling was able to make it an 8-1 game.
Yeah, the ball just bounces high enough, and Kling runs very well, so no chance to get him at the plate. Tigers take advantage of the pass ball and get the run in.
This brings on Tommy White. That time he did not swing at the first pitch, and it sailed well wide. Two and 0. White lately has distinguished himself as a Charlet in a field of Angus.
Okay, I know what Angus is, but you got me on the Charlet part. Couple cows.
It's a light-skinned cow, a white cow.
There you go.
very prized cow, as is an Angus. And the Angus, of course, are dark-skinned. Grant Como, who is the only non-senior or super senior, is at the plate. First pitch swinging, drives it deep to left center field. It's being tracked out there by the left fielder Bingham, and he's got it. Mac Bingham ran a long way and got there before Kling could, which doesn't happen often. And Bingham tracked that one down after a full sprint back deep in left center field. Here's Ballard, strike one called. Michael fly to right field. This is the second pitcher he's faced. Milazzo stabs it again. He has to duck.
Trying to work a breaking ball right there, and I've seen Moffitt throw a number of those this spring. I don't know if I've seen one be commanded yet. That's still a work in progress, but you just have to show the breaking ball when you throw 95 to 98 miles an hour. You just have to throw it somewhere near the zone so that the opponent has to anticipate it a little bit. Just that hesitation alone can work for you.
But it's got to be a serviceable pitch, not like the one he threw over the batter's head.
Exactly.
The 2-2.
Hey, that one's a good miss.
Yep.
That's actually a pretty good job of staying off of it was Michael Ballard.
McLeod is on deck. Let's see if this stays fair. Milazzo grabs it in fair territory and makes a fine play with a little quick overhand peg to first base with the runner not giving him a lot of room. And Milazzo was able to make it look easy.
I mean, this is a difficult play. He's moving to his left, has to turn his body and a little dart throw to his right. Well done. I mean, that's. You would see a lot of catchers spike that ball in the ground or throw it down the right field line, but not Milazzo.
Or hit the runner with it. Or not able to make the transfer on the run. He did everything right. Here's McLeod, who struck out in the second inning. A pair of left-handers are throwing for the Tigers, Cam Johnson and Justin Lohr. That's a high strike. Three and one, 2 outs. The bases are empty. LSU has scored 5, 2, and 1 in succession. We play in the top of the fourth. And a base on balls with 2 outs. We take you back to the Maravich Center where North Texas leads 78-68 with 2 minutes and 20 seconds left in the game. A 10-point lead for North Texas in the first round of men's NIT action. Here's Furr, a local product. He's from Ruston. He has walked and singled in a run.
Yeah, his last time up, he singled with 2 outs to get Louisiana Tech its only hit, only run of this ball game, and Milazzo buying some time for that LSU bullpen. They've got a couple of lefties up, as you would expect when there's 9 of them on the team. Chances are there's a lefty up. Now they have Lohr on the right and Cam Johnson, the freshman lefty, on the left. That's exactly what you want your catcher to do when they ask you to go buy time. You wait until the umpire comes and gets you.
Who was the best of that in your career at LSU? And maybe not just sticking out there as long as you can, but someone who might have had a little quip or some kind of humor.
Well, when I played a couple of seasons with a guy by the name of Adrian Antonini, who was the catcher, it took him a while just to get to the mound. So so that was a big part of it. And then they didn't have all the speed up rules back then. You know, now there's a concerted effort by the umpires to speed up the game. Back then, Bill the Barber, who was umpiring behind the plate, maybe took a little more time than they do these days.
Well, maybe it took him longer to get there, too.
Exactly.
Ben McDonald tells the story about Mike Bianco when he would go out to talk to the much taller McDonald. Here's a shot to right on a hop, and that's going to get through on the right side for a base hit. So Furr is 2 for 2 at the top of the order, and the runner keeps going and scoots to third. That's McLeod, who took an extra 90.
Yeah, McLeod didn't even hesitate. Look at that, just short, compact swing by Furr. I mean, hardly any stride, any turn, just elevated pitch, and he just barreled it to right field. And McLeod, with 2 outs, didn't even hesitate.
Yeah, we might have a pitching change here. But just to finish the story, he would say that Mike Bianco
get an opportunity.
Well, it was shocking to see LSU's staff give up 33 runs in a 3-game series at Mississippi State. Cole McConnell waits. He's out of Beaumont, Texas. Strike 1.
Yeah, I definitely don't think that LSU's pitching staff's going to have a weekend like that the rest of the year. I mean, it's just kind of one of those. They talk about hitting is contagious. Well, sometimes it can go. Bad pitching is contagious, and it was they definitely had a virus that ran through the staff over the weekend. But they've been too good through most of the year to stay down for very long.
Lohr works ahead, 2 strikes. And Milazzo saves that one. McConnell has reached on an error and struck out. Time is called. Oh, ball. That's going to be a pitch clock violation. So add a ball to the count.
I think that's only the 2nd or 3rd time this season at home that I've seen that called. Lohr did pitch 2 2/3 over the weekend at Mississippi State, and he gave up 4 earned runs, 5 runs, 4 earned in that 2 2/3, but comes up with a really nice slider that time.
He comes. Travinski and Pearson will follow. Jones has walked and smashed a 2-run home run, his 8th of the year,
and made him pay for it.
That stays inside. Jones is only 1 RBI behind Travinski for the team lead at 22. And he goes down on a little flare to the right side. So here's Travinski. And if you've just joined us, yes, he has reached base, in fact, twice. He's singled and walked, which means he's reached base in every game this season. I can remember Dylan Cruz had some very long streaks during his career at LSU in which he reached base consecutively.
Dylan Cruz, who went to
St. Mary's.
There you go. Longwood, Florida.
This ball is hit way, way, way back. You can pucker up and kiss that baby goodbye. It sailed into the night, and we will see how far that one went officially in a moment. That's his 5th home run of the year. It might take a bloodhound to find that ball.
Well, that is a fun one. A no-doubter by number 8, Hayden Travinski, to left field. It's always special for North Louisiana players to play against Louisiana Tech. You know, Hayden Travinski from Bossier City, went to Airline High School. You know, he's got a lot of friends that have gone to school at La Tech and played for the Bulldogs. And you always want to do good against your sort of hometown team, if you will.
My goodness. That was a SpaceX liftoff.
Did we get a distance?
Pearson at the plate. He lifts one out of play, foul. So LSU has scored in each inning, 5 in the first, 2 in the second, 1 in the third, 1 in the fourth. That hits Pearson. So the Tigers are right on that plunk per game average of 2 a game. LSU is 3rd in the league in getting hit by pitches. Now it moves up to 2nd, actually. And before tonight, LSU ranked 17th in the country in being hit by pitches. Did you do some reconnaissance?
So the Travinski home run was so far and so high that the track man didn't get it.
Wow.
You know, they have the little error.
Sure.
Sometimes it doesn't always give you the data, or it'll give you like 2 of the 4 parts, like he's talking about it. He pulled his hands in close to his body because the pitch was on the inside, and he drove it to left.
Suffice it to say, it may still be rolling.
Had lunch last week with a former LSU catcher, hit a lot of long home runs back in 1991. Gary Emel, who was the MVP of the 91 National Championship season, had 25 jacks that year. Back when 25 was a lot.
Furr with a terrific play. He bounces it to first base. It's gathered by Como, and very well done by Furr on the backhand side. I like this shortstop.
Well, the head coach of the Bulldogs, Lane Burroughs, talked about his shortstop second base combo, his center fielder as well, how he feels like up the middle they're as strong as they have ever been in the last 8 seasons that he has been at the skipper of this ball club.
Here's Stephen Monster Milam. 0 for 2. He's bounced into a double play and popped up to the shortstop.
Part of the reason for the strength of the Tech team being up the middle, you got a senior shortstop, a senior second baseman, and a senior center fielder. They have all played a lot of baseball in their time.
Well, you can add every position except one to that.
Yeah.
The only non-senior or non-graduate student is the first baseman Como. Ballard makes the play at second base, and the inning is over by the SEC Network and the ESPN platforms.
How about Kentucky, Vanderbilt, and Arkansas? All 3 teams off to a 3-0 start.
I'll tell you what,
in
road
SEC play.
teams had no success this past weekend. Dalton Davis checks his swing. He did not commit.
Texas A&M, after winning the first game of their series this past weekend at Florida to go to 18-0, dropped the next two.
Yeah.
Gators got right and won that series, and so they'll be riding into Baton Rouge feeling good about themselves this weekend.
"27 games left in the SEC 30-game gauntlet. Louisiana Tech plays in Conference USA, which has 9 baseball teams. They only play 24 conference games. The 8 opponents in a 3-game series. Kennesaw State comes in next year, so that'll add a 10th team to the league in baseball, and also add another 3-game series, so they'll be at 27 Conference USA games next year. Here's Ethan Bates. He's been kept off the bases twice. He lined out deep to Pearson near the warning track last time. Bates is so difficult to strike out. He ranks 8th in the country, striking out only once every 22 at bats. So far, Ronnie, he has fanned only 4 times this year. You are looking at a bat control specialist. Look how much he chokes up. I haven't seen a batter choke up this much in a long time.
That's Pete Rose-esque, right? Pete used to do that. The hit king. Are we ever going to get him into the Pro Baseball Hall of Fame before you or I die?
I'm for it with an asterisk.
I'm all for it. However, whatever special wing you got to put him in there. The same wing that Barry Bonds and Mark McGuire and all them should be in. Roger Clemens, put them all in the same wing.
So
That's
you're
fine.
talking about maximum security.
Yeah, I mean, call it whatever you want. Just put them in the building.
Have you ever been to Cooperstown?
I have. Actually really cool when LSU played at Syracuse in football a few years back when Leonard Fournette had that big game and everything. I was fortunate to join Jack Marucci in a group that went for a private tour the night before the game. And they had they brought out a few of the Marucci bats that are in the Hall of Fame at that time. Many more are probably in there now.
LSU has made a defensive change. Ben Napolt is the second baseman, replacing Stephen Milam. 2 outs after the 1-3 put out. And here is George Corona. A strike from Lohr. Lohr came on to strike out McConnell with runners at first and third. And 2 outs last inning. He's retired the first 2 batters here. And a base hit drops into left field for Corona. He's 1 for 2. And he extends the inning with a 2-out single.
He didn't want to wait, committed on the spot. Said, I don't want to let that opportunity slip. And he has been a nice surprise this year. Fastball low 90s, good sharp breaking ball.
White roams to his left, but he cannot field it cleanly. Now he'll hustle back to third base, but there will be no throw there. White distanced himself quite a lot from his initial position, but looked like he was going to haul it in, and then it bounced out of the webbing of his glove.
Take another look.
Yep.
Good curveball. Probably going to give him a hit. I think, and they did. He should have made that play, and will tell you that himself. But because he ranged far enough to his left and had to extend his arm, they credited him with the infield single.
So runners at first and third with 2 outs. Ulloa finds the outside part of the plate.
Velocity's been up a little bit the last couple times Ulloa has thrown. That was 93.
It has. His best pitch in the early going has been that slider. It's got a lot of quick twist to it. Ulloa, after a long stretch, brings it high.
Ulloa credits the nutrition center and the assistant coaches. Going from JUCO to LSU, where you've got everything at your disposal. I mean, whatever the latest state-of-the-art equipment is, whatever the best coaches and nutrition are, they have at LSU in all the sports, and he's gotten bigger and stronger and throwing harder.
Bingham was well placed defensively. He had to back up a bit.
Limited work this year, 4 2/3 innings. He's given up 6 hits in those 4 2/3 innings, punched out 6 and walked 3. ERA of 5.79 for the right-hander. A little bit of a herky-jerky, I don't want to say sidearm motion, but definitely his own type motion.
Kling stung a double into left field last time. He ripped it down the line. He also was hit by a pitch. And he scored. Tigers have scored in every inning, 5-2, 1-1, and lead it 9-1. LSU has out-hit Louisiana Tech 10-4. Kling leads the Southeastern Conference. He's been hit by 10 pitches already this year. That one got there in a hurry. Two balls, 2 strikes to the sophomore center fielder Paxton Kling. Kling bounces it to the shortstop's left. It's gobbled up by Furr. Kling runs well, but he's nailed by a quarter step at first base.
Boy, he really does get down the line in a hurry. Furr with a nice play. Kling made it close.
Now Alex Milazzo, who has struck out twice.
Showed Furr at second base. At shortstop with that really nice play that he just made, as we see a little catcher equipment malfunction. I think it's the earpiece is not working, so they're getting that corrected. But Blake Dean down there at UNO, the head coach of UNO, the former LSU Tiger great, one of the best left-handed hitters ever to play in Baton Rouge, has been just, the transfer portal has beaten him up the last couple of years down there. He's lost like his top 2 hitters 3 years in a row. with the transfer portal, and it's definitely changed the game of baseball. And it made folks. It brought. You know what it's done? It's brought back the program. Nobody used to buy a program, Lynn. Now you got to buy a program each year to figure out who's who and who's where.
And you might have to update it during the season.
Exactly.
Well, in all sports, Ronnie, and it's undeniable, there is an element of the auction every year. Here's the 2-1 pitch to Milazzo. Chop to the left side. McLeod grabs it on the short hop and gets Milazzo. So a ground out to Furr, a ground out to McLeod. And the Tigers not only are in jeopardy of not scoring for the first time, they're in jeopardy of not putting a man on base in each inning. So here's Bingham, who has singled and scored. Popped up to the shortstop. He had an RBI ground out. 1 for 3 with a run scored for the left fielder.
Got a pinch hitter,
it's Larson.
Ashton
Yes.
Larson.
Larson rolls it down to the shortstop in a quick inning. A good inning for Blake Hooks. Hooks gets 3 in a row. No longer in right field, but he is in left field. Pearson replaces Bingham defensively in left. And the youngster Jake Brown has gone to right field. So Brown in right, Pearson in left, and Kling remains in center. Ulloa works 1-1 to Michael Ballard. Ballard has batted, this is his third at bat against a different pitcher each time. He has flied to right. He's been thrown out by Milazzo on a little tapper out in front of the plate. And he goes against Ulloa here.
There's Jake Brown and freshman, and Josh Pearson, who's been in fuego at the plate last few games. Josh Pearson, who started the season at second, and with the emergence of Milam, they've been allowed him to go back to the outfield, which is more of his natural position. Ulloa, who in junior college in California had a assistant coach who had a relationship with Jay Johnson, made a phone call. That's how that whole recruitment began. Oh my.
That bounced up against the chest of Tommy White and then got away from him.
Now that one will be an error. The one earlier they ruled an infield single, but that one will be an error. This is just a routine ground ball to Hopper. White, I think, was anticipating a bigger hop. It skipped a little bit on him. He was anticipating it being up around the eyes. It ended up at the waist. And it's been that kind of week for LSU defensively, Lynn. That's now their third error of this ball game. They had 6 errors over the weekend.
McLeod is from Sour Lake, Texas.
LSU came into the game tonight fielding 974 defensively for the season. Louisiana Tech, if you were wondering, was fielding 977. LSU over this past weekend fielded 955, and those struggles have continued here tonight.
Ulloa brings the 1-2 pitch. Brown is chasing it, but there is not enough room. And the 1-2. A check swing, no.
He definitely held up.
And a call third strike takes care of McLeod.
Ulloa with the 83-mile-an-hour breaking ball gets the benefit of the call, catches the inside corner Black. Now McLeod did not agree with that, but home plate umpire Zachary Edgens rang him up.
Furr has had a good night, both in the field and at the plate. He has walked. He has an RBI single, and he also singled last time. He's 2 for 2.
Has a 325 batting average on the season, but he has a 483 on base percentage.
That's terrific.
He's been hit 12 times this year, which is most on the Tech team.
Jones has room in front of his own dugout. So Furr has been retired for the first time as he fouls out to the LSU first baseman.
You see on Jones's left wrist right there, he has the same swatch watch. So Jay Johnson right here is simulating what could be his role if he does a good job.
Cole McConnell waits and takes a fastball strike. Cole is 0 for 3 tonight, but still batting .368. He has reached on an error and fanned twice. And this is the third pitcher he has faced. The 1-1 is tapped foul. Mississippi State was a winner tonight over Memphis, 17-9. Georgia scored 18, Wofford 6. In the ninth inning, Jacksonville is leading Florida 7-5. That's a cold strike as he buzzed one right down.
You and I, Lanny, was a National Honor Society student 4 years in a row in high school.
Good for him. Congratulations. How many games did they win? 2 years in a row?
53 his freshman year, 59 his sophomore year.
Tommy White has singled twice and fouled out.
Uh-oh.
White lifts one way up and way out. Tommy White is now homered in 4 consecutive games. You can pucker up and kiss that baby goodbye. The Tigers with mammoth home runs by Jones, by Travinski, and by White.
I mean, 4 games in a row. You know, we were sitting here going into the Mississippi State series, the first series of the year, going, Tommy White's only got 2 homers. What's wrong? Well, nothing. He's got 6 now. And that was a no-doubter off the bat. And again, we've been having some technical difficulties with the technology over there in the booth next door. No distance coming from the machine, but Tommy White's feeling it right now.
I'm going to make that one about 418. Here's Jared Jones. And Crabb misses wide. LSU leading by 9. Needing one more for a potential run rule game with a 10-run advantage.
Good chance Jones is swinging for it here with a 2-0 count.
Jones hit his 8th home run in the 2nd inning. Travinski powered his 5th in the 4th inning, and now Tommy White has set one deep into the night, his 6th home run here in the 6th inning. This will be a long run for Dalton Davis, and that comes down in foul territory out of play. Good work down there, young man.
Nice grab. .92 mile-an-hour fastball from the Crabb man. Got in on Jones's hands a little bit there in that 3-1 count.
Jones scorches one to center field. McConnell is back, and he's got some room, and he makes the catch. McConnell read it well off the bat and tracked it down in deep center field. Back to the SEC scoreboard we go. Auburn leads South Alabama in the 8th inning 2-1. That game is in Mobile. Ole Miss in the 7th has a 4-3 lead over Southern Mississippi. This foul ball is out of play off the bat of Travinski. Kansas and Missouri are doing battle tonight. It's in the 8th inning, tied at 3. Vanderbilt leads Belmont 3-1 in the 8th. Texas A&M will play Prairie View tomorrow. And you are up to date with all of the scores available to us at the moment.
What's that South Alabama score? Who are they playing tonight?
Auburn 2-1. Auburn leads.
Auburn leads 2-1. You know who's having a good year over there at South Alabama? Former Tiger Brennan Holt, from Baton Rouge, transferred and hit 300 over there in 70 at bats.
Travinski is called out on strikes.
Pitch might have been a little down. I don't know. It was good pitch. Definitely a pitcher's pitch. Travinski thought it was out of the strike zone. Look where the glove is. Oof, that ball's kind of down, kind of out, maybe. But nothing you can do. You can't swing at it because you're not going to hit it.
No, that's questionable, to say the least. But Travinski is called out on strikes, and here we go with Josh Pearson. Now, Pearson has been plunked, and he's singled twice. He's knocked in a run. He scored a run. He had a good series against Mississippi State. He has continued that tonight. Let's see if this is playable. It is by the shortstop, and Furr makes him. Dalton Davis is 0 for 3. He's popped up to second base, grounded to second base, and flied to left field. Cam Johnson comes out to start the full inning here after retiring by strikeout Cole McConnell in the 6th. Bates and Corona will follow. Johnson works in that swift fastball. 2-1. 10 runs, 11 hits, 3 errors for LSU. 1 run, 4 hits, no bobbles for Louisiana Tech. The Bulldogs will host the Conference USA tournament in May. And it's the second time in 4 years that they've been the host. Here's a ground ball up the middle. And a good job by Dalton Davis of sending that one back from whence it came. Hit number 5 for the Bulldogs, the first for Davis.
You see Cam Johnson, Milazzo gave him a target down and in, and that time he left it out over the outside corner. And Davis, who had seen all fastballs, able to time it on the 8th pitch. I kind of get the feeling that this will probably be Cam Johnson's last batter. He's going to face a lefty, righty on deck. They've got double barrel action in the bullpen. And Jay Johnson's shown he doesn't want to extend Cam Johnson at this point in his career.
That looked like an off-speed pitch, and a good one.
Imagine a lefty hitter in there. You know there's a tendency to be a little wild. He throws mid-90s, so you're geared up for that fastball, and you get a 79-mile-an-hour breaking ball.
You know, Ronnie, I want to play baseball historian here just a moment. It was 50 years ago this summer that the first Tommy John surgery was performed. And obviously at the time it was not called Tommy John surgery. He obviously was the first recipient of that type of surgery by Dr. Frank Jobe in Los Angeles. The ulnar collateral ligament was the damage that has been now commonplace. And Tommy John surgery has been done thousands of times. But interesting that it was 50 years ago this summer.
Changed the game.
It did.
I mean, it absolutely has changed the game, extended careers, and given opportunities to players to have a career that never would have in the past.
Tommy John, the Dodger left-hander, went on to pitch 14 years in the major leagues after the surgery. And people in the sports profession will tell you that Tommy John surgery is considered the most valuable reconstructive procedure there is in all of sports, and they can certainly make a case for that. And you know, there have been players as young as 12 years old to get Tommy John surgery.
Well, the next one is the guy that they named the ACL surgery after.
Sure.
They need to give that a name to somebody.
Sure.
Give that name to somebody, because that's the other thing. Uh-oh, double play maybe.
A little late covering second base is Napolt. He was a long way from the bag and maybe didn't get the start he wanted.
Boy, that is a mental mistake right there. Napolt kind of just fell asleep a little bit there at second base.
Braswell wanted to throw it, and then he thought better of it, and wisely so. Watch right here. He's ready to throw it, and then leads Napolt, but Napolt had no play.
Well, that too, and Napolt was.
A runner at first base with a short lead. Evans pops this one up in foul ground. Napolt is chasing it down and makes a nice catch. That was Napolt's ball or nobody's. And Ben Napolt did a good job of working behind Jones in foul ground to make the catch.
Yep, ran a long way. Slid on that turf over there. Not grass, turf in foul territory. Made a nice catch.
So 2 outs, and it brings on Adarius Myers. The Canadian throws a first pitch strike. Micah Bucknam not paying attention to the runner, nor should he. The pitch. Chopped to the left side. Braswell's got it, makes the flip over to Napolt covering second base. And a nice job of short release.
Savannah Bananas were in town this past weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. They had a pitcher on stilts. He was definitely a lot taller than Thiels, but not much.
Instead of 6'10", he was 10'6". The banana.
Have you ever seen the Savannah Bananas, Lynn?
No, I didn't see the only little clips here
It
and
was
there.
the greatest.
I heard it was
the greatest
fantastic.
event ever in this ballpark. It was that good. I was here for the Thursday night game.
I do know the dancing umpire though, Vincent Chapman.
I mean, Kim Mulkey threw out the first pitch, got ejected on Saturday. She argued the call. She just missed. She thought it was a strike. Umpire called it a ball on the first pitch.
Right.
And then they threw her out.
Right. All scripted, of course. But a nice touch. You know, speaking of Mulkey, when she was 10, 11, 12 years old, there were no softball teams. There were no females playing on baseball teams. But she did, and she was an all-star.
Well, she was the first pick in her Little League draft when she was like 11, 12 years old, 2 years in a row, and that was boys and girls in the Little League around Hammond.
Ruddle draws a base on balls. And now here's Ben Napolt, who replaced the monster Milam a couple of innings ago defensively. He's batting for the first time. Strike one. Colton Coates is now playing second base for Louisiana Tech. So Coates replaces Ballard. And Carson Evans is catching. He has replaced George Corona. One run, 5 hits, no errors for Louisiana Tech. 10 runs, 11 hits. 3 of those have been home runs. 1 by Jones, 1 by Travinsky, 1 by White, and 3 errors. That's a call, third strike. Napolt turned away, but I think he knew it. Well, here is Ethan Fry. It's good to see him having recovered from an injury enough to swing a bat. We're told, Ronnie, that he still has difficulty defensively throwing the ball, but he has made enough progress recovering from that shoulder injury to be able to swing the bat.
Well, this is a good sign because Fry, prior to kind of popping out his shoulder a couple weeks ago, was 6 for 16 on the season, and it happened in a game where he was 2 for 2 and then injured his shoulder diving back to the bag on a pickoff, which Tommy White, by the way, did the exact same thing last year, the very first game of the season. Now, I was told that this was the very first time that Ethan Fry has ever had anything like that happen. I know Tommy White, it happened a number of times. That's why he had surgery at the end of last summer.
Two balls and a strike on one of the biggest targets at the plate for LSU. Ethan Fry out of Rose Pine, Louisiana. Watch your speed going through there.
Fry, 6'5", 229 pounds. Was a catcher in high school, and actually a pretty good one. I mean, LSU just has 3 great ones ahead of him, but he's able to play outfield.
He's called out on strikes.
Was that a 3-2 pitch? Or was that a 2-2 pitch?
I'd have to check the board. It was a 3-2 pitch, I think.
3-2 pitch, so normally you think it's a foul ball. We've got data for you up to date.
Okay.
So on the 10 3-2 pitches tonight, 5 of them have been foul balls. That's 50% of the time, and I believe your number was 62 or 63.
It was 62, yeah.
Percent, yeah. So if you had the under, you're a winner.
The game's not over, as you told me back in the first inning.
Yeah.
And this is over the course of a season.
You were very sure of your percentages earlier.
And I still am over the course of a season. Here's Milazzo. He swings. Can't find it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, this big 6'10" Brenton Thiels has come on and handcuffed a couple of Tigers after walking Ruddle. Milazzo smacks one on a line to center field. McConnell drifting back and hauls in the well-hit liner off the bat of Alex Milazzo. So Ron Anderson in right field, and we've got a new shortstop as well. Braswell is out of the game. Kucherak is in the game at shortstop for the Tigers. Grant Como, a redshirt freshman, the only non-senior or graduate student in the offensive lineup, hits this one slowly to the left side. White's got it, spins and throws. Nicely done. Tommy White ran a long way. I think if that ball had gotten past him and was going to be fielded by Kucherak, I think it would have been an infield hit. But Tommy White makes a really nice play, straightening up here, and with the flip, puts it right into the chest of Jones.
Now he attacked that ground ball, really got to it in a hurry, and well played.
Micah Bucknam got the final out last inning. He has started the 8th. Be another chance for White, and zips it across quickly. 2 outs. White tested twice.
There you go.
And passes both tests.
Bucknam probably yelled over to White, "Nice play, eh?" That's what the Canadians say.
That was pretty authentic. This is Slade Netterville, who's batting now for McLeod. Micah Bucknam to the plate. And a check swing is ruled a strike. Netterville out of Shreveport.
Netterville went to Byrd High School.
And he's called out on strikes. So a very good inning for Mike. And then they will take on Little Rock at the end of the month and early into April. Jake Brown from Sulphur, Louisiana, batting for the first time today. And Brenton Thiels had no trouble after walking Ruddle. He got Napolt and Fry on strikes, and then Milazzo lined out to center field. The 6'10" righty brings it high and away.
You know, when fastball's been around 88 to 90 miles an hour, and when you're 6'10", 6'11", you know, as a hitter, that ball gets on you in a hurry. I mean, it's not just the 89; it's the fact that the release point is so far much closer to the plate than a 6'2" pitcher that it is tough on hitters.
Slade Netterville has remained in the game at third base. He batted for McLeod in the top of the inning, so it's Netterville at third, Furr the shortstop, Coates at second base, Como at first, Evans catching.
3-2 pitch misses.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Not fouled off. So over the course of the season, I got you. We'll keep the numbers.
You're going to spend a lot of time at the computer. Tell you. LSU needs one. And this ball is hit a long way on a line. It's off the bottom of the wall. Here comes the runner around third. He scores standing, and the Tigers on a walk-off double by Tommy White, who continues